Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Monahan, and I've had the privilege of being the secretary of the class of 2019. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this year's Candlelight ceremony. Tonight, as graduating seniors, we have had an opportunity to look back over our high school careers and reminisce about the good times along with the struggles and challenges that have helped shape who we are today. It is so appropriate that you're all here with us today. Our teachers, administrators, coaches, parents, and friends, because you've each had an important part in our journey here at the high school, and for that, we thank you. Our journey started 4 years ago as we entered these halls as freshmen. As I was thinking about what to say here, what stood out about our freshman year, I realized we were finding our way in a confusing time. No matter what anyone says, it can be very intimidating coming in low man on the totem pole. Yes, it's very exciting. We are all ready to move on from middle school and gain even more independence. But no matter who you are, it's a very big change. It can be a little overwhelming when you don't know what to expect. On our first day as freshmen, Mr. Tracy spoke to us on just that. He talked to us about his own experiences, going through high school and beyond, and how life can be unpredictable. Sometimes things don't work out how we plan. He assured us that with confidence and flexibility and our willingness to remain open to all opportunities, we would find the right path for us. It may not be what we expect or think we want at the time, but through our successes and failures, our challenges and rewards, we will find what is right for us. This message is exactly what we needed to begin our high school career. We had heard stories of the heavy workload ahead. So many things were daunting to us. But just knowing that we didn't have to have it all figured out as freshmen, or even seniors for that matter, alleviated some of the stress that we felt, allowed us to adjust and enjoy the new experiences coming our way in high school. Now that we're all facing a very similar situation right now, I urge you to use what we have learned from being freshmen at Hamilton Wenham and apply that wherever you are going. Truly appreciate that we've experienced here together and look forward to many more greater times to come. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nick Pawlowski, and for the past 3 years, I've had the pleasure of being the treasurer for the class of 2019. Tonight is a night for reflection and remembrance of a time we've spent together, for the memories and experiences we have made together throughout these halls will play an important role in shaping our future. Mr. Steiner once told me that every year, the most annoying kids in the school are consistently the sophomores. Sophomores, he said, were too far away from college to realize that school truly matters, and no longer the babies of high school, ensuring that they always have an annoying air about them. At the time Mr. Steiner said this, I was a freshman, and with no disrespect to the class ahead of us, I could totally see what he was talking about. While I was convinced that the following year our class would prove him wrong, as he started the next year in August, I couldn't help but wonder if we would be just like those who preceded us, or if maybe we would chart a different path. We are now 2 years removed from our second year of high school, and I want to say that I firmly believe we proved you wrong, Mr. Steiner. For the regularly overlooked year of high school, often seen as only a bridge between new beginnings of freshman year and the heavy weight of junior year, the class of 2019 grew both outside and in. For starters, we quickly rid ourselves of the mean green fighting machine, replacing it with the class colors we still boast today, black and silver. We came together as a class, rallying around each other during Spirit Week, whether it was hallway decorating, volleyball, or building genuine love for our class and our school. We're not only becoming stronger and more passionate, but we're also coming together and becoming more mature. And just when we were supposed to be fulfilling our peak annoying state, again and again, I witnessed friends and classmates coming together, helping one another, and building a stronger community within the halls of the high school through acts such as the Don't Cut 'Em Twice movement or the everyday encouragement as we began our first go at history fair. Although we were only sophomores, we were unafraid to put ourselves out there, whether it be athletes like Billy Whalen and Eliza Campbell, artists like Lydia Malloy and Aiden Heaney, actors like Bryn Smith and the other Glovsky, or radiant or radiant academic lights such as Sean Lee and Lily Knutson, our class was already leaving a permanent mark on the court, campus, stage, and classroom of Hamilton London. Sophomore year was no forgotten year for the class of 2019. While we certainly had plenty of growing to do, I like to think we avoided some of the pitfalls of our second year. We laid the foundation for a strong conclusion of high school, and we began to leave an impact that would not only weave our stories into the fabrics of our school's rich history, but would also help and guide us for years to come. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Elizabeth HWRHS, and I have been the Vice President of the Class of 2019 for the past 4 years. And now, in our tale of our high school journey, we come to junior year. For the first time, the seniors didn't seem so old and tall, the hall's not quite so big, and the time left in our sentence not as long. We could see the light at the end of the tunnel. We were already halfway done with our time at the regional. As individuals, our talents continued to shine, and we began to shed our underclassmen immaturity. As a class, we experienced immense success and growth and gained confidence together. We excelled during Spirit Week, crushing the seniors in the annual Powder Puff football game and enjoying the most successful homecoming dance of the past 4 years, to the point of nearly breaking the Hellenic Center floor with our dancing. At the root of these many successes was our incredible work ethic and willingness to go the extra mile to achieve our goals. In that famous Powder Puff game, we fought with blood, sweat, and tears against our vicious opponents, never giving in until Mr. Fitzgibbon's final whistle. We were bloody and bruised, but we had come out of that game stronger as a group. We fought the tradition that the seniors always have and always will win, proving our strength and our insane desire to fight any obstacle in our path. As any parent of a humanities student will remember, with October came the infamous Flapbook Project. Whether it was a testament to our willingness to work hard or just our talents of procrastination, most everyone completing the project remembers the night before it was due as the night in which nobody slept. And the countless sleepless nights to follow, we learned to give everything in our power towards the fight for success. As a community, we, the class of 2019, reaped the rewards of our hard work. We embraced our many talents, fought for each and every one of our successes, and gained the confidence we needed to achieve our goals. There is no doubt in my mind that each and every member of this class will excel in his or her chosen path, for we all have the special confidence to fight for our dreams and the mental toughness to make them happen. Thank you.
Welcome, parents, family, friends, teachers, and other community members for coming here tonight. I would first like to say thank you. Thank you to the teachers that we've had for the last 15 years of our lives, and thank you to the parents and family that have supported us for the last 18. Your care and assistance has helped us all come to the end of our journey as high school students and reach one of the biggest accomplishments of our lives. Freshman year, in my English class with Mr. Hickey, we read a poem I'm sure none of you have heard. It reads, "Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Back then, I thought these words by Robert Frost were just supposed to inspire us freshmen to be different and make decisions that set us apart. What I eventually learned, though, took me 4 years to understand. It's our decisions that determine our future. During freshman year, we were all timid and afraid to be different. We all tried to dress the same because we were afraid to stand out. We all tried to share the same opinions and beliefs because we were afraid of conflict. Inside and out, we were practically the same. 4 years later, we have finally learned that we don't all have to wear khakis and a Vineyard Vines t-shirt, or the girls don't all have to wear jeans and white Converses. Bridget Marshall wears her zebra print pants to school, and Sam N.T. Nichols wears his iconic Carhartt jacket, and they both look great. We've especially learned that we don't want to have the same values and beliefs. In classes like debate and law and society, it's more interesting when our opinions differ from everybody else's. And this is important because growth and learning doesn't happen when everybody thinks the same way. We've come to the realization that we're all different, and it's important to stand out from the crowd rather than getting lost in it. My time at the regional has taught me more than just the importance of individualism. Algebra and pre-calc taught me that when you're solving a quadratic, you can end up with two values of x, and they both might be right, or you might end up with an extraneous solution. So you'll find they may either have a solution or no solution at all. Or in bio, when you're doing a chi-squared analysis, you either reject your null hypothesis or fail to reject it. But you're always going to reach a conclusion that explains the results of your lab. Or even when you're reading a novel in English and learning about Howard Zinn's use and abuse of history and social studies, there's always a lesson to learn. For example, Howard Zinn taught us that it's nearly impossible to escape bias, even when we're reading a text on our own. Holden Caulfield wishes that childhood could be like the Eskimos and other artifacts in the Museum of Natural History, trapped in time and unchanging. But in reality, childhood is not infinite and maturity is inevitable. Therefore, we must reach for the golden ring and make our attempt at adulthood. And for the times we just simply cannot find a solution, we plug the numbers into the quadratic formula. Or if we reject the null hypothesis, then we'll redo the lab and get new data. And if we didn't take anything away from the book we read in English, we discuss and analyze the text. And if you still don't understand it, then go to themes on SparkNotes. Although the answer may not seem apparent to us at first, it takes work, revision, critical thinking, and persistence to find a solution, reach a conclusion, or understand a lesson. Similarly, when we leave our small towns of Hamilton and Wenham and move on to greater things, we will face obstacles and we will overcome them. We know that there isn't always one way to solve a problem, and sometimes there isn't an easy solution, but that is the ambiguity of life. Life is about not knowing everything, being resilient, and searching for different ways to solve a problem. It's about taking pleasure in the fact that as we come to the end of our journey at the regional, we don't know what's going to happen next. However, the lessons I've learned from my teachers and classmates have taught me things that could never be found in a textbook. My freshman year, Mrs. Borg pulled me out of the classroom because she noticed I had stopped participating in class and asked me if there was anything going on. In reality, I was fine, but her ability to notice that one of her students was seemingly having a hard time provided me with a sense of security that my teachers weren't just there to help me academically, but personally. Or an A-block site when I have my dunks in hand and the class is looking outside to see if Giles Hubbard is going to make it before the second bell. Miss Maney will never fail to start the day off with an invitation for students to share something from their weekend or their vacation. She always brings a positive attitude to the class, despite anything going on in her own life. She has taught me that kindness and positivity can carry you through anything. Besides these lessons, I've also become part of a community where I've developed strong friendships with my classmates. When Riley Folger tells me how she's going to be bawling her eyes out tonight and at graduation, I never really understood. Because we'll also be able to see each other. But next year, when most of us will be on college campuses and out in the real world, we won't see these familiar faces every day. I love the fact that when I take laps during school and run into Cam Geyer, Julia Sorial, or Mike Ravello, I'm guaranteed a high and an extra minute or two on my e-hall pass. And that's a human connection that I would genuinely miss. However, it's not just these small conversations and acts of kindness. It's also the fact that we all grew up with each other. Many of you I met at preschool, others in elementary school or middle school. And it's unfortunate that when we take the next few steps into our future, we're going to be surrounded by people we've never met. For example, I remember in preschool, Evan Bucci is one of the shyest kids. When Haley Rivers on Wildcat territory next year at UNH, no one will know what we do, that she was the tallest kid in elementary school. Or how the students at Syracuse will never know that Meg Kenzie Hooker in middle school wore khaki pants and a turquoise quarter-zip to school every day shouting, "Yee yee." But because we've grown up with each other, we know that Haley gradually became one of the shortest, Mackenzie has hung up her khaki pants and quarter-zip, and Evan is definitely not the shyest kid in school. Each of you shares a similar memory with someone else here. These small details of our childhood will only be known to us and be secrets to our future friends. Because we all grew up with each other, we know some of the most embarrassing and awkward moments that each of us has experienced. And next year, we will thankfully be putting these memories in the past. However, we've also all seen each other slip up, maybe even a couple of times. We are young and sometimes a bit reckless and irresponsible, but that's the fun of being in high school. But through it all, we stood there for each other, because that's all a part of growing up. We learn from our mistakes, and we become better people because of them. However, we've also seen each other do amazing and inspirational things, no matter how big or small the accomplishment was. Grace Bertagna promotes Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos, an organization that supports orphaned or abandoned children in the Dominican Republic and single-handedly runs Bookmaking by the Sea, a children's camp. She taught me that although we're young high schoolers, we can make a significant impact on our community, even if this community may also be 2,000 miles away. Each of you sitting here has something to be proud of. Throughout all of these experiences, we have started to become individuals, prepared for our adult lives. Right now, we're the youngest that we will ever be and are experiencing one of the best times in our lives. But we have to accept the fact that we're all grown up, no matter how scary it is. But the relationships I have with these people go beyond a classroom setting. It's heartwarming to know that when I randomly pull up to Cumbies with Emma Brophy to get some snacks and see Henry Shibley, Henry Jones, and Xander Nostrand parked a couple spots down, neither of us hesitate to ask to hang out. There's nothing better to do in our small town but drive around to places like Singing, Cranes, White Beach, or Pavilion and get food. The sense of community in our school is unparalleled because anyone is willing to hang out with anyone as long as you are. All of this brings me back to the poem by Robert Frost. A couple of days ago, in Ms. Stevens' class, I learned that The Road Not Taken is one of the most misinterpreted poems in the world. And for 4 years, I believed it was simply about taking the road less traveled and not following the crowd. Instead, I learned in my final months as a senior that isn't saying there's one right path and one wrong path. It's not that simple. In reality, there is no right path, just the chosen path. For example, when we're all on a drive with our friends and we're trying to go to Singing Beach, we can take the scenic route through Beverly Farms because it is just as fair. Or take the bumpy roads of Tobacco, although it's grassy and wanted wear. We're going to change of pace and take 128. Whatever path each of us has taken to get to this stage tonight, these routes have made all the difference. Life is ambiguous, and it is ultimately up to you to decide what you make of it. If you find yourself lost, open Snap Maps. If you can't find a solution, use the quadratic formula. If you fail to reject, redo the lab. If you didn't read for English, open SmartNotes. But if there's no solution, that's an answer in itself. What you make of the world is up to you. You're ultimately responsible for the paths and choices you take in life. We are presented with unwanted challenges and variables, so we must adapt and be resilient, because there's always going to be some way to find a solution. So, if you find yourself lost in the woods, not knowing what path to take, trust yourself and make the best of it without regret. I know Maddie Katz, Olivia Malloy, and Clint Bordeaux will be amazing athletes. Emily Minster will be running the 2036 presidential election. Aiden Heaney will be the next Pablo Picasso, and Daphne Friedman will be an inspiring teacher. I have no doubt everyone in this room will be successful in their own way. So, class of 2019, when you take your final drive home from school, down Bay Road in your cap and gown with your diploma, I hope you understand that the different choices and paths you take are up to you. But know that life cannot be lived guessing what could have been if you had taken another route. Your future is what you make of it. Don't worry about what could have been or what could be, but enjoy the ride instead, because I know you all will be extraordinary. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Nicholas Steiner, the history teacher here at Hamilton in the last 12 years. Well, it feels like the blink of an eye. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the parents and guardians here tonight, because without you, your love, your care, your patience, your wisdom, your graduates surely would not be here tonight. Secondly, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2019, whom we celebrate tonight. Although the ceremonies of this week mark an ending for you, it also commences the beginning of a lengthy journey whose end none of us can predict. That is what I hope to address tonight. I will begin by admitting that when I was first asked to speak at Candlelight, I felt great pride followed by bewilderment. People who are to me the titans of teaching have delivered the Candlelight speech. How could anything I say match their eloquence? Then there was the extensive rumination over just what I would say. Life is so comprehensive, I could stand here for hours, and it would still be inadequate. If I were to research great speeches, then mine would be derivative of theirs. I found myself stuck, much like many of you have felt stuck by an assignment, maybe in an essay or a project. I've thought of speeches I've heard in my life, and it dawned on me that I cannot remember any of the speeches I heard when I graduated from high school. I vaguely remember my high school salutatorian's name was Tara, and that is because when I heard her speak at graduation, that was the most I heard her speak in 4 years. For my college graduation, Chief Justice John Roberts delivered the commencement address. I vaguely remember he talked about climbing up a mountain, but that's all I remember. It was really hot that day. That's not to say they were bad speeches. I'm sure they were fine. But they don't stand out in my memory. Frankly, I took solace in the fact that if I fail tonight to offer poignant insights you take when you leave here, you'll be fine. This is just one moment of many in your life. Some will have major impacts on you, others little, but all contributing something that will become your story. It's upon this realization that I found my muse. When I first started teaching here, I was told to observe my more veteran colleagues. I dutifully observed many of them, like Vinnie Bucci, a master teacher whom we salute as he heads to a much-deserved retirement and to whom I owe many great insights into my profession and life itself. I also watched as Ken Portnoy handed out tests. He would hold up his hands to remind his students, this is your life, this is high school, this is this test. I was struck by how simple yet brilliant this was, and I've used it for years to warn you against a myopic view of life. One test, one paper, one homework does not solely determine the course of your life, much like one long-winded Candlelight speech one-nighter. It is Ken's brilliant insight I wish to expound upon one last time before you head off to the rest of your lives. Yes, this moment marks an ending as you move on from Hamilton Wenham Regional High School. But more accurately, this moment signifies beginning. Tonight, we rightly celebrate what has led you to this point. But this is just one moment of a myriad number that, woven together, will be the story of your life. No one single moment could possibly tell your story. You have a lot more of that story to write. The average life expectancy in the U.S. is 78 years. That means as you sit here tonight, most of what will be your life has yet to occur. There are trips you've yet to plan, goals you get to set, wishes you get to dream. There are people who are going to be of tremendous consequence to you, and right now, you don't know them at all. Who you are now is not who you'll be in 4 years, or 10 years, or 50 years. As you sit here tonight, you have no clue how your life will actually play out. As I didn't when I was graduating. None of us do. These moments of transition are a natural time to think about what we leave behind and what lies ahead. All we can be certain of is that at some point in time, the smaller journeys that make up our lives will end. High school, college, careers, etc. This can seem daunting, scary, something to avoid. But I agree with Socrates who said the unexamined life is not worth living. As you journey through life, writing the stories that will become your life, examine what has led you to where you are, consider where you're headed, and contemplate the choices you need to make. As you sit here tonight, ready to leave behind Hamilton Original High School, consider what lies ahead and think, really think, about what will be your story. Whose lives will you impact? What will be your legacy? You needn't have grandiose visions. Your story doesn't have value only if there's a statue built of you. Surely by now you would recall what became of Ozymandias of Egypt, who was so certain his statue would attest to his enduring legacy, yet now lay in ruin in a desolate landscape. Your story will matter because it is your own, and it will impact the story of others. All of our stories are somehow interwoven. All of our stories intersect here, at Candlelight, days before graduation, then diverge from tonight and intersect with mankind in ways we cannot predict. You may recall that in A Christmas Carol, the ghost of Marley exclaimed, "Mankind was my business." Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. When all is said and done, and your business is finished, you will have impacted countless people, hopefully for the better. Thought about this a lot recently, about life, the journeys we all take, and what we leave behind when it's done. In the last year, I've witnessed many of life's big moments. I've seen people close to me complete master's degrees, take bold steps in their careers, welcome new life to this earth, new stories to be told. And I've seen life come to an end. Stories finish in one sense, yet still having a deep and lasting impact on the stories of others. When my saintly better half lost her 89-year-old grandmother, I was struck by how her story, which commenced, continued, and concluded within the same 8-mile radius, helped shape the story of others. She had a very simple life with lots of ostensibly nondescript moments, nothing that would appear in a history textbook. Yet she had an endless array of family and friends that was growing right up until the end. Her wake and funeral were attended by a never-ending array of well-wishers, all of whom had nice stories to tell of Margaret, also known as Mimi. Were any of these stories about her GPA, or award she may have won, or her resume? No. They were about how kind she was, how much she helped them in their lives, the wisdom she shared, the joy she created, and the impact she had on them. Her story may have come to an end of sorts, but her epilogue, her legacy, is still being written by those whose lives she impacted for the better. In a way, her story continues through theirs. Yours will too, and that should excite you. Before you lies infinite possibilities. You have a whole life to live, people to help, and stories to write. You too will have the chance to make people's lives better in ways great and small. I hope in your time here, you've built some fond memories, strong friendships, and learned a whole lot too. But know that there's so many more memories to forge, people to befriend, and much, much, much more to learn. In describing the Tao, Lao Tzu said, "Something and nothing produce each other. The difficult and the easy complement each other. The long and the short offset each other." In your life beyond these walls, there'll be moments of triumph and tragedy, joy and pain, gain and loss, endings and new beginnings. People will enter your life, and they will leave it, sometimes too soon. Relationships will begin, and they will end. Some will enrich you for the rest of your life. You will have days that fly by and days, or perhaps speeches, that seem to never end. But they will. And it is my sincere hope that on that, the good moments outweigh the bad. All told, these moments will have to be your story. If this particular moment sticks with you, if in the near future you remember these words, let it be because I'm asking you to examine the moments of your life and to consider what will be your story, your legacy. You have the rest of your lives to answer that question. The moments you live collectively will answer that question. Soon you leave here, soon you arrive at the next stop in your journey, the next chapter of your story. This was just one moment, one paragraph of that wonderful story. I wish you the best of luck filling in the rest.
Hello, my name is Will Hogan, and over the past 4 years, I have had the privilege of being the president of the class of 2019. Now we have come to senior year, the final year of high school. After finishing junior year, I, as I'm sure many of us were, was looking forward to the promised safe haven of senior year, where I could comfortably coast to the finish line. It turns out that this image of senior year, being one of inconsequence and skip days, was a complete fantasy. To any juniors in the audience who are rejoicing that they are through the worst of it, rest assured that more stressful nights are yet to come. Throughout senior year, there seemed to be a sense of eagerness to be finished with high school. After all, the year was a period for looking ahead, for carving out your future path, whether that be college, the military, the workforce, a gap year, or something else. The focus amongst the class was fixed firmly in a forward direction. I can't tell you how many times throughout the year I heard a member of our class, including myself on several occasions, say something along the lines of, "I'm ready to be done with high school." Now this is an understandable sentiment. After 4 years, the regional seemed to be smaller than ever, and the daily routine of high school felt like limbo compared to the light at the end of the tunnel that is college. Yet, I believe I speak for many of us when I say that, standing on the precipice of finishing our high school career, this eagerness to move forward has been, at least in part, replaced by a desire to go back. In life, the value of one's experiences can often only be understood and appreciated through reflection. This is certainly true with our senior year, and indeed high school as a whole. Looking back on the great experiences we have had as a class this year, like homecoming, playoff sports games, stuffing the cruiser, and many more, I feel foolish for having been so eager to leave. High school was far from a perfect experience. It was full of awkward moments, early mornings, and many stressful nights. It was still undoubtedly one of the most formative times of our young lives. Over the past 4 years, this group has become more and more unified as we journey through the odyssey that is high school. As you reflect on our time at the Regional, I would urge you to appreciate the relationships and bonds that have been formed in this building. Because no matter where life may take you, each of us will always and forever be a member of this group, the class of 2019. Thank you.